#### title. Humanity's Bold Gamble: How We Redefined Galactic Warfare. The Galactic Council's Grand Hall was abuzz with tension. Rows of alien dignitaries, representing countless civilizations, filled the gleaming amphitheater. Overhead, holographic displays projected the inevitable, a simulation of Earth's defeat at the hands of the Zorathian Dominion. The odds were grim. Earth had no fleet to match their enemy, no technological edge to exploit, and certainly no allies to call upon. Yet humanity's ambassador, Rhea Morgan, stood resolutely in the center of the chamber, her expression unreadable. "Let me be clear," Ambassador Vercon of the Zorathians growled, his reptilian features contorted in disdain. "This is not war. It is reclamation. Humanity has trespassed, and we will not tolerate their insolence any longer." Rhea straightened her blazer, her calm demeanor a stark contrast to the imposing Zorathian. "And yet you've summoned the entire Galactic Council to witness this. Reclamation. Strange behavior for a species so confident in their victory." The chamber rippled with murmurs. Vercon hissed, "Confidence is unnecessary when one wields overwhelming power." Rhea's smile was faint, almost amused. "Overwhelming power? Or overwhelming arrogance?" The murmurs grew louder, an undercurrent of curiosity replacing the initial tension. The Zorathians were infamous for crushing rebellions with brutal efficiency, but rarely did their victims speak so brazenly. Vercon leaned forward, his voice a low snarl. "Do you believe your defiance changes anything, Ambassador? Your world will kneel by the cycle's end." Rhea's gaze never wavered. "Perhaps. But if you're so certain, then let us formalize it. A declaration of war, witnessed by the Council. If we lose, Earth will submit without further resistance. But if we win—" Laughter erupted across the chamber, Vercon's deep, guttural cackle drowning out the rest. "Win? What could Earth possibly offer in exchange?" "Your unconditional retreat from human space," Rhea replied smoothly. "And an acknowledgement of Earth as a sovereign power." The Council erupted in noise. Some members whispered in amusement, others in disbelief. The very idea seemed absurd. But Vercon's ego was too vast to refuse the challenge. "Accepted," he spat, his sharp teeth glinting. "But I'll savor the irony when your species begs for mercy." The declaration was signed within the hour, the terms set. War would commence in one Earth day, with the Council observing from orbit. As the chamber emptied, Rhea retreated to the small human delegation, where Captain Elias Harper, the commander of Earth's defense forces, waited. "They took the bait," Harper said, his voice low. "But I still don't see how we pull this off." Rhea gave him a sly grin. "We don't need to win a war, Captain. We just need to end it before it starts." "How?" Harper pressed. "By fighting a war they've never seen before," she said cryptically. "Prepare your fleet, Captain. We're about to show the galaxy how humans redefine impossible." As they left, the holographic displays of Earth's supposed doom still flickered across the chamber. What no one realized was that humanity wasn't planning for victory, it was preparing for revolution. The Zorathian fleet arrived exactly on schedule, their massive warships blotting out the stars over Earth. Sleek and angular, the vessels bristled with weapons designed to decimate entire civilizations. From the bridge of his flagship, Dominion's Wrath, Admiral Xylox observed Earth with a predatory gleam in his slitted eyes. "Admiral," his second-in-command hissed, "their planetary defenses are non-existent. Scans detect no major energy grids or orbital cannons." Xylox's claws clicked against the control panel as he sneered. "Typical. They've already surrendered in all but name. Position the fleet. This should be over in minutes." But as the Zorathian ships began forming their attack line, a single human broadcast interrupted their communications. It was Rhea Morgan, her image clear and composed, standing against a backdrop of Earth's blue skies. "Admiral Xylox," she said, her voice calm but cutting, "you've underestimated us." Xylox growled, slamming his fist against the console. "Silence their signal." His technicians scrambled, but no matter their efforts, the broadcast continued, overriding their systems. Rhea's faint smirk seemed to cut deeper than any weapon. "Humanity doesn't fight like you do," she said. "We don't rely on brute force. We think. And while you've brought your entire fleet here, unguarded and overconfident, we've been preparing for this moment." Xylox frowned, his instincts twitching. "What is this nonsense? Deploy the first wave." But as the order was relayed, something unprecedented occurred. The Dominion's rash shuddered violently, and alarms blared across the bridge. Xylox spun toward his sensor officer, his voice sharp. "What's happening? Admiral! Multiple sabotage signals detected across the fleet. Engines offline. Communications compromised." The broadcast shifted, now showing Captain Elias Harper aboard a disguised Zorathian shuttle, his expression cool as he navigated their fleet with ease. "Surprised, Admiral?" Harper asked, his tone almost amused. "You didn't think we'd just wait on Earth, did you? Your supply lines, your outposts, they were wide open. Took a little ingenuity, but we've ensured your fleet is trapped here. No reinforcements. No retreat." The realization hit Xylox like a plasma blast. "Impossible! Our systems are impenetrable." "Not impenetrable," Harper corrected. "Just predictable." Rhea reappeared, her tone laced with satisfaction. "This isn't a war, Admiral. It's a lesson. Humanity adapts. While you relied on overwhelming firepower, we studied your weaknesses. Every ship you brought is now a liability." Panic spread across the Zorathian ranks as human interference escalated. Zorathian vessels, unable to maneuver or communicate, found themselves in chaos. Decoy transmissions mimicked attack orders, causing them to fire on one another. Mines hidden in Earth's asteroid belt disabled several smaller ships. The entire fleet was devolving into a disaster. "You think this changes anything?" Xylox roared. "Our warriors will crush you in ground combat. Good luck getting to the surface," Harper said. "You've lost your fleet. What makes you think we'll let you land?" On Earth, hidden orbital defense systems activated, targeting any Zorathian escape pods or landing craft attempting to breach the atmosphere. It was a coordinated effort, precise and ruthless. "Admiral," one of his officers whimpered, "we're losing control." Xylox's gaze flicked to the viewscreen, where Earth loomed impossibly calm, the humans trapped tightening like a noose. For the first time in his career, he felt fear. "They've turned our strength into weakness," he muttered, his voice hollow. "This wasn't supposed to happen." From Earth, Rhea's broadcast ended with a chilling message. "You came expecting conquest. You leave with a reminder: never underestimate humanity." And with that, the galactic tide turned. The Zorathian fleet spiraled into disarray. The once mighty formation of warships now resembled a chaotic scatter of hulks, sparks flying as systems shorted and engines stalled. Admiral Xylox paced the bridge of the Dominion's wrath, his claws digging into his palms as he barked orders. Each command only amplified the futility of their situation. "Reboot our systems manually! Get communications back online!" His voice dripped with desperation. "Admiral," a technician stammered, "manual systems are unresponsive. It's as if the fleet's operating against itself." Xylox's eyes narrowed, his pride unwilling to admit the full extent of the defeat unfolding around him. "Prepare ground forces. If we can't dominate the skies, we'll take Earth the old way." But even as his officers scrambled, another transmission pierced the bridge. The image of Captain Elias Harper appeared on their main screen, seated in his commandeered Zorathian shuttle. Behind him, the holographic layout of the Zorathian fleet displayed dozens of vessels glowing red, indicating disabled or compromised systems. "You're still trying to fight, Admiral?" Harper's tone was mockingly casual. "I'd admire your persistence if it weren't so predictable." Xylox snarled. "This isn't over, human. Your primitive tricks won't last." Harper leaned back, almost amused. "That's the thing about humanity. You think we're primitive, but we're just unexpected. While you were busy flaunting your fleet, we were rewriting the rules of engagement." Before Xylox could respond, Polaris, the Echo Voyager's AI, joined the broadcast. Admiral Xylox, analysis confirms the majority of your fleet is incapacitated. Continued resistance will only exacerbate your losses. Xylox slammed his fist against the console. Resistance? We are Zorathians. We don't surrender. Good, Harper replied. We weren't expecting you to. Suddenly, the Dominion's wrath shuddered violently. Sparks erupted from the control panels, and the ship's artificial gravity fluctuated for a moment before stabilizing. The crew braced themselves, their eyes darting to the Admiral for guidance. Status report, Xylox demanded. Admiral, a technician shouted. The humans have overridden our navigation system. They're pulling us into Earth's orbit. On the surface of Earth, hidden anti-orbital defense systems powered up, their targeting computers locking onto the Zorathian ships one by one. As the Dominion's wrath drifted closer, Rhea Morgan's voice returned, calm but commanding. This is your final warning, Admiral, Rhea said. Withdraw what's left of your forces, or we will demonstrate why humanity survived every predator our planet ever threw at us. Xylox bared his teeth. Bluffing will get you nowhere, human. You think this is a bluff? Harper interjected, the smirk returning to his face. Take a look outside. Xylox turned to the viewport, where Earth's surface shimmered with coordinated light patterns. As the lights converged, a massive EMP pulse rippled across the planet's atmosphere, cascading through the Zorathian fleet. Ships powered down, weapons systems went dark, and escape pods froze mid-deployment. The Dominion's wrath faltered, its engines sputtering before falling silent. The bridge fell into an eerie quiet, broken only by the Admiral's labored breathing. His claws flexed, trembling with a mixture of rage and helplessness. You planned for everything, Xylox muttered, more to himself than anyone else. That's the difference between us, Rhea replied, her voice unyielding. You came with strength. We came with strategy. And now, Admiral, you're out of moves. Xylox stared at the screen, his once proud fleet now reduced to floating wreckage. He slammed his claws on the console again, but this time, no orders came to his lips. For the first time, the Zorathian Admiral was at a loss. This isn't war, he whispered bitterly. It's humiliation. Rhea's voice softened, though it carried the weight of her people's resolve. Humiliation is better than annihilation. Take your losses, Admiral. Leave while you still can. The screen went dark, leaving Xylox with only his thoughts, and the inescapable truth of humanity's triumph. The silence in the Dominion's wrath was deafening. Admiral Xylox stood frozen on the bridge, his claws resting on the console. The once proud Zorathian fleet, which had darkened the skies above Earth, was now reduced to floating wreckage and lifeless hulks. Around him, his officers avoided his gaze, their postures slumped under the weight of defeat. A transmission flickered onto the main display, revealing Ambassador Rhea Morgan, calm and resolute. Behind her, the skies of Earth gleamed with the soft shimmer of restored peace. Admiral Xylox, Rhea began, her tone measured. Your fleet is disabled. Your forces are scattered. Humanity has no desire to escalate further, but make no mistake, this is over. Xylox's voice was low, his arrogance cracked but not entirely gone. Your species has earned a fleeting victory, but you will not. This is not just a victory, Rhea interrupted sharply. It's a reminder. Strength doesn't win wars, Admiral, strategy does. You assumed our lack of firepower meant weakness. You failed to see that we've been studying you long before you arrived. Captain Elias Harper appeared beside Rhea, leaning casually on a console. You're out of moves, Xylox. Your options are surrender or limping back to your empire with whatever scraps you can gather. And trust me, if you choose the latter, the Council will hear how the mighty Zorathians were outmaneuvered by humans. Xylox's claws trembled against the console. He knew Harper's words to be true. The Galactic Council had witnessed the entire debacle. The Zorathian reputation of invincibility was in tatters. Finally, with a defeated growl, Xylox nodded. We will retreat. But this, Humiliation will not be forgotten. Rhea's expression softened, though her resolve remained firm. Humiliation is a lesson, Admiral. One I suggest your Empire takes to heart. Your conquest ends here. The transmission ended, leaving Xylox and his crew to initiate the slow, painful retreat from Earth's orbit. On Earth's surface, cheers erupted in command centers and resistance outposts worldwide as the Zorathian ships began pulling back. The skies cleared, and the once imposing blockade dissolved into a scattering of retreating vessels. In the Echo Voyager's command room, Rhea Morgan and Elias Harper watched the final remnants of the fleet disappear into the void. Around them, their crew exchanged looks of triumph and relief. "Think they'll come back?" Harper asked, crossing his arms. "Not any time soon," Rhea replied. "They've lost more than ships today, they've lost the illusion of superiority." Harper grinned. "I'll drink to that." Rhea's expression softened, though her eyes carried a glint of determination. "We've proven something today, not just to the Zorathians, but to the entire galaxy. We're not prey. We're not weak. Humanity is adaptable, resourceful, and dangerous to underestimate." In the following days, word of humanity's triumph spread across the stars. The Galactic Council convened to formally acknowledge Earth as a sovereign power. The Zorathian Empire, though begrudgingly silent, withdrew its forces and shifted its attention elsewhere. Humanity, meanwhile, turned its focus inward. New alliances were forged, technologies refined, and defenses fortified. They knew the galaxy would test them again, but they were ready. On the observation deck of the Echo Voyager, Rhea Morgan stood alone, gazing at the stars. Earth's blue-green glow reflected in her eyes as she allowed herself a rare moment of quiet pride. "We didn't just survive," she murmured. "We showed the galaxy who we are." And with that, humanity's story of resilience and ingenuity became a legend that would echo across the stars for generations to come.